In our solar system, Mars has the next best chance of being habitable by humans after Earth. Numerous bold business people have ambitions to send their own trips to the Red Planet, while astronomers and academics have been captivated by it for decades. NASA's brilliant minds, meantime, are keen on learning more about Mars and have dispatched a number of rovers to the planet. But Elon Musk, who wants to build a permanent settlement on Mars, has been paying close attention to everything the rovers have found. The NASA Perseverance rover, which landed on Mars not too long ago with the help of a miniature helicopter called Ingenuity, has been revealing some scary facts about the Red Planet. How will the findings of NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars impact Elon Musk's plans and our overall knowledge of the Red Planet? Do we really have to rule out the possibility of finding life on Mars? Welcome back to Spaceverse, space enthusiasts. Today we've got some exciting news to share. Elon Musk, the visionary behind SpaceX, has just unveiled NASA's absolutely mind-blowing discovery on Mars. So fasten your seatbelts and prepare to be astounded by the mysteries of Mars. But before we dive into the details, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest space discoveries and updates. Alright, let's get started. Among those who support a human mission to Mars, Elon Musk stands out as the most passionate. Elon Musk, founder of SpaceX, has never been quiet about his ambitions to create a colony on Mars. Musk actually believes that thousands of humans can be shuttled between Earth and our little red planet within the next decade or so. By the year 2030, he says he wants to see humans established on Mars. Mars rovers have already been researching the planet's innards and looking for traces of ancient microbial life. And only recently some odd things were uncovered about Mars, which could put his plans in jeopardy or force him to rethink his approach. Speaking on September 27 at the International Astronautical Congress in Guadalajara, Mexico, he emphasized that the goal was not to have everyone relocate to Mars, but rather to become multiplanetary. Having a strong sense of adventure and doing what you love while reducing existential danger are fundamental to this. The first human landing would be 20 to 30 years away, he tweeted. Assuming transferring 100,000 at each rendezvous, and about 1 million total people needed. Musk openly admits that his time frame is ambitious, despite the fact that he made it sound like it wouldn't be too difficult of a project. Bobby Braun, formerly of NASA and now of Georgia Tech, said that they estimated it would take a century to accomplish this. Before we get into whether or not their goal is reasonable, let's discuss the bizarre new Martian discoveries that are sure to alter the course of history. Recent data from NASA's rovers suggests that microbes may have been able to thrive on Mars in the past when the red planet was warmer and wetter. We're talking about more than 4 billion years ago when there was no life on Earth yet. At first, scientists disregarded this notion by choosing to overlook the evidence. On the other hand, what do you make of the photo of a strange little structure on Mars that appears like a doorway? Using its mast camera, Curiosity took the picture on May 7 of last year, and NASA released it later that week. A lot of people think it's a doorway to some caves where aliens once dwelt. Every new finding, of course, has a rational scientific explanation. Despite allegations that the aperture could have been used by aliens, NASA has maintained that it is simply a natural rock fissure. It's possible that's the case, but what about the other baffling things we've learned about Mars recently? The planet's enormous old lake, Olympus Mons, and its cyclical water seasons all seem out of place. Can life on Earth be traced back to Mars, as some historians have begun to wonder? We'll get to it in a minute, but first a quick review of how we got here. On June 19, 1976, the Viking 1 lander became the first spacecraft to successfully land on the surface of Mars. On September 3 of that year, its companion Viking 2 arrived. Both rovers proved that the Red Planet was more than just a barren wasteland, paving the way for modern exploration missions. Carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus, all of which are necessary for life as we know it on Earth, were first detected by the two spacecraft, along with indications of ancient riverbeds and widespread flooding. The existence of Martian precipitation is another proof that the planet originally had a more substantial atmosphere. What changed, though, throughout time? It was eventually determined that the planet had lost its protective atmosphere to space, leaving only a trace of the once abundant gases necessary for life. Extensive experiments were conducted to confirm the scientists' hypotheses, and cameras and other sensors were used to investigate Mars's environment. The Vikings carried miniature astrobiology labs to conduct experiments in the search for active life on Mars. The first experiment involved mixing microscopic samples of Martian soil with drops of water containing a nutritional solution and some radioactive carbon in order to identify gaseous waste created by live organisms. Scientists are divided about whether or not the positive finding for metabolism in the soil sample proves the existence of life on Mars, since the gas may have been produced by numerous other factors besides life. For instance, the soil may have been stimulated by UV light from the sun, leading to off-gassing. Further investigation looking for organic material yielded negative results, further supporting the idea that life was not present on Mars. This conclusion was maintained by scientists for almost 40 years. NASA's Curiosity rover barely recently discovered sulfur, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and carbon in Martian rock while drilling into it. There's no denying the importance of these to human survival. The rover also located sulfate and sulfide minerals, which could have provided nutrition for Martian microbes from billions of years ago. The chemical makeup of the water on Mars is also reflective of the minerals present there. There are publications that claim that not only was there water on Mars, but the water had a chemical makeup, or such that we could have drunk it. A NASA scientist stated, "We would have been content just to sit and drink it," the speaker said. After prior observations by orbiters and rovers, the presence of methane in the Martian atmosphere was confirmed in 2018 by the Curiosity rover. Due to its short half-life and rapid decomposition into other molecules, methane is seen as a biosignature and indicator of life here on Earth. Findings also revealed methane levels fluctuate, sometimes leading scientists to speculate that life on Mars is to blame for the generation and rise and fall of gas in the planet's atmosphere. While no single discovery resolved the issue of past or present Martian life, it did help fill in some of the blanks about the red planet's history and encourage further investigation. More incredible information about the red dusty planet Mars was uncovered when NASA's Perseverance rover landed there. Jezero crater is a 28-mile wide, 600-foot deep crater in Mars's isodisplanish area, and the mission's goal was to study it. In addition to looking for evidence of life, the rover was designed to collect samples of the Martian environment, place them in small tubes, and leave them on Mars for a future pickup mission. Since its arrival in February 2021, NASA's six-wheeled rover has been exploring the planet's surface. Recent research has revealed that the terrain on which the rover has been rolling was created from molten magma. Implications for the history of Jezero crater and the entire red planet stem from this revelation. Since the mission science team hadn't known where the rocks on Mars came from before the Perseverance landed, they were curious. The scientists also found organic molecules in some of the rocks from the crater site, indicating that they had been in contact with water several times in the past. This led NASA's Perseverance rover to collect samples from Jezero crater, the results of which surprised many scientists. Several in-depth studies have shown that the area around Jezero crater was once submerged in water and hosted an ancient river delta. As one of the mission's scientists and the report's primary author Nicholas Mangold put it, "This discovery allows us to confirm the presence of a lake and river delta at Jezero." According to Ken Farley, one of the mission scientists, "It looks like our first rocks reveal a potentially habitable, sustained environment. It's shocking to learn that the water has been present for a long time." Also, he stated, "It didn't end there. Researchers have discovered evidence that Arabia Terra, located in northern Mars, was the site of hundreds of mega-eruptions, the largest volcanic explosions ever recorded over a span of 500 million years. It's important to remember that certain volcanoes are so strong that their eruptions can cause oceans of dust and hazardous gases to be released into the air, obscuring the sun for decades and altering a planet's atmosphere. The most powerful volcanic outbursts known spewing water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide into the air were discovered by analyzing the terrain and mineral composition of the Arabia Terra region in northern Mars. About 4 billion years ago, these explosions reportedly tore through the surface of Mars over a span of 500 million years. In a publication for the journal Geophysical Research Letters, the researchers present their estimate. Similar new information on Mars composition has been uncovered by scientists as a result of NASA's InSight probe. The seismometer on board the probe, which landed on Mars in 2018, may pick up vibrations underneath the surface. That's why it was the first to record an earthquake on Mars. The thickness of the crust or surface of Mars was estimated to be between 12 and 23 miles by researchers. For comparison, the average thickness of the crust on Earth, which is roughly twice the size of Mars, is about 22 miles. 3 studies based on the seismometer data were published in Science, and according to NASA, they provided evidence that Mars' core is molten, as well as information regarding the depth and composition of the planet's crust, mantle, and core. In contrast to the outer core, which is liquid, Earth's inner core is somewhat solid. Researchers are still digging through InSight's Martian data to determine if it bears any similarity to Earth. By merging data from 3 international satellites orbiting Mars, scientists were able to prove that the red planet's drying out is largely due to localized dust storms. The function of localized dust storms in drying out Mars was recently revealed by NASA. Researchers speculate that Mars was wetter billions of years ago, but they don't know why it keeps losing its water supply. NASA researchers settled on a theory that water molecules are broken down into their lighter components, hydrogen and oxygen, by ultraviolet radiation in the thin atmosphere of Mars' outermost layers. Because of its small weight, hydrogen is quickly lost to space, while oxygen can either disperse throughout the atmosphere or fall back to Earth. Additional photographs from the Perseverance rover reveal a barren, stony, dusty, and frigid terrain on Mars. Is it still reasonable to try to bring humans to this planet, despite all the information we now have? The founder of SpaceX routinely tweets about going to Mars. He is determined to succeed in his quest. "I believe that Mars will be an excellent destination," he says. "There will be endless possibilities on this world." However, Musk has re-emerged in the spotlight after stating not for the first time that he has failed to realize his ideal. Risks associated with his planned trip to Mars were discussed. "A bunch of people probably will die in the process," he was quoted as saying by CNN Business. During a conversation with X-Prize creator Peter Diamandis, Musk made the remark, "It's uncomfortable, it's a long journey, you might not come back alive." NASA astronauts were warned before their historic mission to Mars. "No one will be forced to go," he clarified. "Only volunteers are accepted." When put in context with the history of human spaceflight endeavors, such risk forecasts sound terrifying and perhaps fatal. A fire at a ground test for NASA's Apollo program in the 20th century claimed the lives of 3 astronauts, while the Columbia and Challenger disasters of the Space Shuttle period claimed the lives of 14 astronauts. For the past 2 decades, Musk has discussed his hopes for a future Mars colony. However, he has not shown any signs of joining early settlement operations. Musk told Ron Howard in an interview for the National Geographic Channel's global event series Mars, which premiered worldwide on November 14, 2022. "Either we're going to become a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization, or we're going to be stuck on one planet until some eventual extinction event. The red planet won't be transformed into a habitable world in a year, and that's before we even consider the risk involved. It will take a century to complete." It's possible this is something the wealthy and ambitious millionaire overlooked. Despite being in a zone where life could thrive, Mars has never been a welcoming environment. Don't worry, I'll clear things up for you. Have you ever pondered why, despite being in the habitable zone, Venus and Mars are devoid of life? The idea that there might be life on other planets has always captivated humankind. While our exploration of the Moon has shown us that it is devoid of life, our trips to other Earth-like planets in our solar system, such as Venus and Mars, have raised many doubts. There are a few things you should know before we get into that. Explain the concept of a habitable zone. The phrase habitable zone is used in astronomy to describe the region of a solar system where conditions are favorable for the development of life. The concept is straightforward. There must be liquid water and favorable temperatures for life to flourish in a given area or atmosphere. What planets orbiting our Sun fall within its habitable zone now that you know what one is? There are 8 planets in our solar system, and they are all special in their own ways. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars make up the inner rocky planets, while Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune make up the outer gas giants. Between Venus and Mars lies the habitable zone in our solar system. Earth, too, is a resident of that part of space. Both Mercury and Venus are far beyond the habitable zone, with the latter barely entering it. Water cannot remain liquid for long on Mercury and Venus because of their proximity to the Sun. Both Venus and Mars sit on the cusp of the habitable zone, but neither quite makes it. Mars enters and exits the habitable zone at different times during the Martian year due to its irregular orbit, which is caused by the gravity of Jupiter and the other gas giants. However, just because a planet is in or close to this zone doesn't mean it can support life. Having a planet in a habitable zone does not guarantee that it will be inhabited. Then what characteristics of a planet make it suitable for human habitation? Not only does a planet have to have water on it or show signs of having water for it to be considered livable. Water can exist on a planet even if it is far from the zone where life can thrive. Europa, a moon of Jupiter, is somewhat well known. It hides an ocean beneath its icy surface that holds twice as much water as Earth. Europa is much smaller than Earth, yet, in order to support metabolic activity and life, a planet must be at a comfortable temperature where liquid water may exist. For life to form and flourish, it needs to be able to use energy for billions of years. This could be in the form of starlight, internal heat, or chemical energy. Because of this, Earth is likely one of a kind, if not the only planet in the universe. Many things worked in our favor, such as plate tectonics, a core that generates a powerful magnetosphere, a large moon, and the right temperature. Historians have found evidence that the Sun was dimmer in the past, and that Venus formerly had oceans, but that the planet's proximity to the brightening star evaporated the water. The planet's current thick atmosphere may be the result of all that water vapor being evaporated. Water formerly flowed freely on Mars as well. Numerous space probes have uncovered minerals that formerly contained water or indications of long dry lakes. In fact, in 2018, researchers discovered proof of a hidden lake. This is all historical data though, as these planets do not currently have any liquid water. Therefore, we are left wondering whether or not life could ever have existed on these worlds billions of years ago. Thinking we're the only intelligent life in the universe is terrifying, but the alternative is even worse. However, the existence of life on Mars at the microbiological level has not been ruled out. Keep in mind that our current Earth wasn't always this way. Our planet had a partially molten surface, volcanism, and asteroid impacts 5 billion years ago. The newly created Earth was extremely hot and inhospitable to life due to a combination of factors. Naturally, any advanced society at the time would have disproved the possibility of life on Earth. Well, today has come anyway. As we wrap up our journey today, a big thank you for joining us at Spaceverse. Your support fuels our cosmic exploration. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep exploring with us. Until our next cosmic encounter, see you.